Okay, so I'm freaking the fuck out right now. I've been hiding in my bedroom since 2:30 this morning, and there's something not right about my house tonight. All of my roommates have been gone for hours, and I couldn't bear to be alone in this big empty house anymore. So I drove out to the university in my town to sit in our enchanted forest and have a few smokes. It's my favourite place to go sit and think in the middle of the night, but that's not really important right now. After several joes, I decided it was probably time to head home, since it's the middle of the night, and I know a heavily wooded area isn't really a safe place for a young girl to be alone at 2 a.m. I pulled into my carport and everything seemed normal, until I inserted my house key into the lock, and it opened before I even got to the second lock. I always lock the second lock. And since my roommates are all out of town right now, I know it couldn't have been them. Even though the four of us are the only ones with keys. The lock put me on edge a little bit, but I shrugged it off, conceding that I must have turned the key the wrong way when I tried to lock the door before I left. I set my keys down and headed for my bedroom. But something didn't exactly feel right. I know people say shit like this all the time, but I could feel that something was unusual. It was the same sensation as when you move a piece of furniture in a familiar room over just an inch or two. There isn't enough change to actually see and pick out what's different, but something is definitely off. I chalk this feeling up to the fact that it's late and I'm home alone. Trying to shake off the feeling that someone was watching me, I sat down in my room to peruse the internet, since I sure as hell wasn't going to do anything productive with my time. That's when I first heard it. There was this light tapping coming from the front of the house, but that wasn't so unusual. I have 2 cats that are always running around, making noise at all hours of the night. So again, I shrugged it off. Cursing the cats were giving me such a scare. And then it hit me like a fucking train. Wolfgang and Boozy were both sitting on my bed, fast asleep. I racked my brain for possible sources of the noise, but came up empty-handed. It had to be nothing, right? Shit like this doesn't happen to me. It's only stuff I see in horror movies for entertainment. This isn't real life. At least, not my life. I decided that I was letting my imagination get the best of me. The noise was just your run-of-the-mill old house sounds. Probably need to have our foundation checked out soon. I went back to the internet, trying to distract myself from my overactive imagination. I sat on my floor for another 20 minutes or so, but there it was again. Only this time, it was louder, and accompanied by a faint scratching noise. Barely audible, but definitely there. At this point, I went into full panic mode. Should I call out and see if anyone answers? Prepare a weapon? Shit, all the guns in the house are locked in the safe. Upstairs. So I did what any 20-year-old girl in a horror movie would do, and went to investigate. I tiptoed to the kitchen and peered into the front room, which seemed to be the source of the sound. There didn't appear to be anything out of the ordinary, but I needed to know for sure. I opened the drawer next to me and put out my chef's knife, hoping my weapon would scare off any potential attacker. As I approached the front room, my stomach was in knots. What would I do if there was actually someone in there, just waiting for me to come and see what was going on? But still, I entered the living room and called out, "Is anyone there?" The only answer I received was from Wolfgang, meowing from the kitchen and scaring the ever-living shit out of me. I didn't expect an answer if there actually was an intruder, but I felt better just knowing that I had at least checked. I set the knife down, figuring I no longer needed it, but then picked it back up before heading to my room. I just couldn't seem to shake this feeling that someone was watching me. But who would break into my house and just sit there without actually doing anything to me? I didn't have any stalkers or angry ex-boyfriends, or really any enemies for that matter. I'd always gotten along well with everyone for the most part, so it seemed out of the question that someone would have reason for breaking into my house. When I got back to my room, I put on my favourite Zeppelin album and checked my phone, where I saw I had a notification on Tinder letting me know I had a new match. It was this cute guy Ty that I had swiped right earlier in the evening. I smiled to myself and waited to see if he had messaged me first. And then, almost as if on cue, my screen lit up. Hey there. I decided that since I had that fright, I probably wasn't going to be to sleep anytime soon, so I might as well stay up and have a conversation with him. What's up? I replied. Just chilling, listening to an old Zeppelin album. What about you? I'm actually doing the exact same thing. What are the odds? As I hit send, I heard a sound come from the front room again, but something was different this time. It was marginally louder than before. Something was definitely going on. But last time I checked, there wasn't anything out of the ordinary. Even so, I couldn't just keep shrugging it off. I left my room, kitchen knife in hand, and walked towards the living room with trepidation. My phone dinged from the pocket of my sweater, probably a response from Ty. I continued towards the front of the house, losing courage with every step I took. Holy shit, my heart felt like it was about to beat its way right out of my chest. I heard the soft tapping again, but louder than it was from my bedroom. I ran back down the hall and slammed my door behind me. Whatever was happening out there was something I was sure did not want to be part of. I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket again. Another message from Ty. The odds are quite beautiful actually. So, are you home alone? Oh good, another boy just after my panties. Gross. But somehow, I'm still intrigued by him. Even though we'd only exchanged a few messages. I wasn't sure how to answer his question. But before I could even draft a reply, another speech bubble popped up on my screen. Want to hang out? Well, seeing as it's the middle of the night, and I don't actually know you, I'm going to have to pass on that one for now. But I'd love to meet you for coffee or drinks sometime, I replied. Sorry, but a girl's got to watch out for herself. I guess, he replied. I decided to go look at his profile again and try to find a conversation starter in his bio. Less than a mile away. I assumed he must live close. It made sense. College students occupied most of the apartments. There wasn't much to his bio. Just his name, a few pictures of himself, and a tagline that read, "People watching is my favourite pastime. Let's make up stories for strangers over coffee." I decided I could elaborate on that. So, you're into people watching? You could say that. My favourite place to do that is at the airport on the edge of town. I don't know, seems too public for me. I really prefer seeing people in their natural habitats. Oh yeah, how so? You know, when people are in their element, just doing their own thing, they're much more honest that way. The tapping had continued, but I decided it was probably nothing and I felt safe with my bedroom door locked behind me. Still, I felt uneasy. Maybe I should invite Ty up on that offer and invite him over. At least then, I wouldn't be freaking out by myself in this empty house. I went back to my phone and reread his last message. He was an odd one. That much was already apparent. But I was also into quirky. Something about his messages was strange to me though. Mostly the comment on not wanting to watch people in somewhere that was too public. I guess so. So what's an ideal location for people watching for you? This time, I went a few minutes without a reply, which was strange with the way our conversation had been flowing for the past 15 minutes. I didn't think anything of it though, since it was well after 3 AM at this point. Then it was there again. The godforsaken tapping sound was much louder this time though, almost as if the source had somehow become closer to my room. And then, all of a sudden, the tapping stopped again, and I felt myself let out a breath that I didn't realise I'd been holding in. At this point, it's almost 4 AM, and I've been typing this out while messaging Ty, ever since I first heard the tapping noise. I was hoping to get some insight on what might be causing the tapping, but it's been happening for almost 2 hours, and I'm still hearing it. So I'm writing this from the safety of my locked bedroom. Oh shit, just my phone again. Right here. What? What is that supposed to mean? But before I could hit send, I heard someone knocking on my bedroom door. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment below. All feedback, good or otherwise, is always appreciated. If you have any creepy stories of your own, or have any topics that you would like me to cover, feel free to send them in via any of my social media. You can find all links to my social media in the description below. Until next time guys, make sure you lock your doors, stay safe, and I'll see you next video.